And last but not least, today we have Manganese, ASX code EMN. The company is developing the Shalvatise project in the Czech Republic, a unique waste-to-value operation producing high-purity manganese for the EV and battery sectors. Presenting for the company today is Chairman and Director Rick Anthon. Rick, over to you.
Manganese. So we're a ASX and TSX listed company. The focus of the company is the development of a high purity manganese project located about 90 kilometres outside of Prague. I think as a entree, before we get talking about the project, I think it's useful just to look at the high purity manganese market and just maybe give people a little bit of background on that. It is a critical mineral. It's not a mass market mineral, but it's a very important part of the battery supply chain, and that importance is only going to grow. So why is manganese important? Because it's an affordable product compared to cobalt, nickel, and other elements that make up the battery cathode. And added to batteries, it improves the safety of those batteries. It lowers the environmental impact, and it also significantly increases the driving range of batteries. So if we look at the alphabet soup of different battery chemistries and how they're evolving, a little bit of a busy chart, but the point to take away from this is that manganese, the high purity manganese, forms a vital part and an increasing part for batteries, almost irrespective of the battery chemistry. The only battery chemistry at the moment that doesn't utilize manganese is the lithium iron phosphate, or LFP batteries, which have grown significantly since 2019. However, those batteries, you will increasingly see those LFP batteries add an M, so they'll become LFMP. And again, why do they do that? Because the addition of a relatively small amount of manganese has a dramatic effect on the improvement of on the performance of those batteries without necessarily increasing the price. This is a trend which we're seeing develop, and we're seeing this come out of not just the LFMPs, but also automotive manufacturers such as Stellantis and Ford and GM are heavily committed towards manganese-rich chemistries in their next round of battery development. Now, again, so what does this all mean in terms of manganese? Well, what it means is what this chart's showing, which means the market going into significant deficit in the next in the next 1 to 2 year time frame, even allowing for announced projects being developed, and also taking a relatively conservative view about EV and battery take up and stationary storage take up in general. The outlook is for a serious deficit to be developing in the 27, 28, 29 range. So turning to our project, which is located basically in the middle of the Czech Republic, which is pretty much in the middle of Europe. The project is, we believe it's going to be central to the next generation of battery chemistries, given that market deficit looks like kicking in 2027. And for reasons which I'll take you through, we're very well positioned to take advantage of that. We have a significant first mover advantage in where we've taken our project to, and we are the only meaningful project that's located in Western Europe. The mining part of the project is relatively simple. There is a tailings there which come from a historic pyrite mine, which run at about 7.4% manganese, and there's about 27 million tonnes of those, which on our current planning is a 25 to 35 year project life. The processing, there's no blasting, crushing, or grinding required on these tailings. It is very simple and about as close as you get to risk-free mining in terms of digging digging up and moving effectively across the road into the processing plant. And while we're doing that, we remediate remediate a historical pile of tailings. So there's a great piece of circularity in the project. Our project focuses on production of high purity manganese products. It's having extracted the tailings, they're effectively beneficiated, and then they move into a process of producing, through electrowinning, of producing high purity manganese metal, and then that metal can then be taken on a number of different paths, principally into manganese sulfate, but it can also go into manganese carbonate and one or two other manganese products that are all of which are utilised to a greater or lesser extent in the battery supply chain. The company released a definitive feasibility study in 2022, which had some quite strong numbers in it. Subject to post that, the company then took that study and built a very substantial demonstration plant, which is operated continuously and provided a very, very solid proof of the work that was done in the feasibility. It got the recoveries. We produced the metal. We produced the sulfate. And where we find ourselves now, and the people always talk about learnings, there were a lot of learnings out of what we did, and there were a lot of a demonstration plant of this size, because as you can see, we're not talking about some lab test or pilot plant sitting on somebody's bench. This is a serious demonstration plant, which none of the new movers within the manganese space have done as yet. So this is when I talk about our first mover advantage. We are significantly advanced from the other companies that are talking about doing this, be that in the States or Australia or Botswana, which I think this slide shows in terms of where we see our advantages. We have our supply, the project stages at advanced. We're moving through to feed documentation. We have a great circularity benefit and strong ESG potential. We are situated in Europe. We have our permits, our major permits in place. We have a friendly regulatory environment, and increasingly we have an environment where Europe is very, very focused on making sure that it has a battery industry. It knows that if it doesn't support the players in this market, it will not have a battery. It will not have a battery industry, and they are rapidly advancing the government methodologies for how they support the maintenance of the battery industry, and that includes the upstream supply chain, of which we are a vital part. So, what are we doing now? Having got to this stage, our main focus, having built the demonstration plant and having had a look at the learnings out of those and the consideration of those, and also doing a deep dive into the potentially where the battery chemistry is going. What we have done is taken the feasibility study, taken the work out of the demonstration plant, and we're now going back and optimizing that with a view to driving improvements in OPEX and CAPEX, and also the optionality in what we're going to be producing. So this plant optimization review, we will have results to that to hand shortly, and that's going to, I think, drive us through to an updated feasibility, which, as I said, we would be hoping to deliver improved numbers from where we were in the 2022 feasibility, and also provide improved flexibility in what we can produce. So there's our pathway and our near-term catalyst, as we were talking about. We've got the demonstration plant. We can produce samples as we go through. We're in discussions on financing. We're in discussions and already have some offtake agreements signed. All our land access and permitting is nailed down, and we're good to go on that. And as I was just saying, we're now going through the optimization program to make sure that we can deliver the optimal project to meet the demands. One key factor which I didn't mention previously is that when we talk about high purity manganese, 95%, possibly more, but there or thereabouts, 95% of high purity manganese that goes into batteries comes out of China. There is a very, very small. We're only talking a couple of 100,000 tons a year that's being produced at any one time, and that will grow. But 95% of that's coming out of China. So supply chains all over the Western world are dependent and currently have nowhere else to go other than that Chinese supply chain. So that is a significant opportunity for us, particularly as I was discussing previously, with the Europe's recognition that they do need strategic autonomy to support their supply chains. Interestingly enough, and the high purity manganese also has a variety of uses within the defence industry, and I think, as most of us are aware, Europe's made a very significant commitment to increase its spending there. Exactly what that means for project economics, probably too soon to say, but it's a very interesting development. So I think in summary, the Euro Manganese is very well positioned to take advantage of a looming shortage within what is a key critical mineral, and to start building out those supply chains and providing Western producers with some security of supply outside of their existing Chinese supply. So thanks, Abby, and thanks everybody for hanging in till the bitter end.
Thank you so much, Rick. So we do have a time for a few questions here. So Euro Manganese recently announced an optimization program for the Shalvatise project. Could you talk us through what that involves and how it positions the company as it moves towards commercialization?
Yeah, I think, as I said in the presentation, Abby, this company's done an enormous amount of work. It was a very, very detailed feasibility study that was produced in 2022, and then on top of that, they spent a significant time and quite a large sum of money in building a world-class, maximally scaled demonstration plant. So there have been changes within the battery sector in terms of the precise mix of products and in fact the precise mix of high purity manganese that's used in batteries. There's obviously also, there's no secret, there's been changes in pricing in that they are not where they were in 2022. But also on top of that, we had the benefit of running a multi-year demonstration plant, which we actually got to run continuously. So it was a very easy decision to make, to say, well, look, let's go back. We're not going back to the drawing board, but let's go back and optimize all of these studies we've done, taking the new economic environment, taking the work and the results that we've got out of the demonstration plant, and let's just make a right-sized plant with optionality, which we would hope which will have increased benefits in recoveries and capex and opex.
And then just looking ahead, Rick, what are the major milestones and timelines that investors could keep an eye out for over the next few months, from both a project and market standpoint?
I think that the market, as we said, is very interesting, and I think we will see, if we talk out over 12 months, I think we'll see that tightening of supply start to become evident. From our point of view, our path is to go through the preliminary work we've been doing, and then look towards updating with perhaps an updated scoping study, and then moving through to a revamped feasibility study as quickly as we can. So they're the events that we have control over. In terms of what might happen in this space, in the EV space, it's never a dull moment, but I think you will see the theme that I spoke about previously about what Europe is doing and what they need to do in their critical mineral supply I think you will see news coming out of Europe that provides some more definitive statements about how they're looking to do that. And on the broader scope, I mean, you've already seen over the last few days, you've seen the US government announce that it's partnering with the Orion Resource Partners to focus on basically the worldwide or the Western world acquisition and development of critical minerals. So it's those sort of macro developments which impact directly on what we're doing. I think that's something to keep an eye out for going forward.
Thank you so much, Rick, and thank you for bringing us home today. Euro Manganese has a fascinating story, and we look forward to following it.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thank you.